This is Nightline and I'm Liyanna Hassanel. The top stories. EPF declares higher dividend of 5.5% for 2023. And over 3.8 billion ringgit transferred overseas by scam syndicates. Good morning. The Employees Provident Fund, EPF, has announced a dividend rate of 5.5% for conventional savings and 5.4% for Sharia accounts for the financial year ended December 31st, 2023. This brings the total payout amount for 2023 to 57.8 billion ringgit, which will benefit more than 16 million EPF members. The rates represent an increase on the dividends of 5.35% for conventional savings and 4.75% for Sharia accounts paid out in 2022. This time, the dividend for Sharia savings also recorded a significant increase.
And in particular in the US, a lot of the performance was driven by what's called the Magnificent Seven, which are the largest, the 7 tech companies. Including, of course, the stellar, which is NVIDIA, driven by generative AI. A large number of technology companies are Sharia compliant. So therefore, because these were in the Sharia portfolio, we saw that increase in returns in the Sharia portfolio.
In the meantime, the Retirement Savings Fund recorded a total investment income of 66.99 billion ringgit, a 29% increase compared to 2022. Domestic investments contributed 31.71 billion ringgit, or 47% of the EPF's total investment income, while global assets generated income of 35.28 billion ringgit, or 53% of its total investment income last year.
We're actually fairly confident in our ability to deliver the return on investment. And as you can see, it has worked out well, right? The consistency surrounding return on investment has been good, 6+% on a gross basis, 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. And notwithstanding that the asset size will continue to grow over time, as long as we do this methodology about allocating assets based on the strategic asset allocation, we should be able to generate the income.
EPF's investment assets, meanwhile, continued to record strong growth at 1.13 trillion ringgit, an increase of 13% from 1 trillion ringgit in 2022. Meanwhile, the gap between EPF dividend rate for conventional and Sharia savings declared this year has reduced compared to previous year. Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said previously the difference in dividend rates between conventional and Sharia savings was approximately 0.6%, but this year it is only at 0.1%, and this was a very good achievement. Amir Hamzah added that he hoped contributors would be happy with the dividends. And with Malaysia being among the countries with an aging population, he reminded Malaysians to ensure that they have sufficient savings for their retirement. In the meantime, economists have lauded the EPF for its announcement of increased dividend rates for the year 2023, expressing optimism about the positive impact on the current economy.
High dividend would mean EPF members are able to accumulate their retirement savings at a faster rate in order to retire more comfortably. Additionally, the dividend rate is much higher compared to the inflation rate, which resulted the real dividend to be at 2.89% for simpanan conventional and 2.51% for simpanan Sharia. In that sense, the rakyat should be better off as they need to contend with higher cost of living. And it does show that the economy is getting better given the ongoing new member registrations, which stood at 460,000 in 2023, while new employee registrations stood at 82,000 for 2023. Such numbers resonate well with the full employment status of our economy, which means that more people are having jobs and are able to save in EPF funds.
Several factors have also been highlighted by experts, shedding light on the mechanisms that contributed to the elevated dividend rates.
the diversification of the EPF's investment portfolio in the international markets. And these diversification help to not only to reduce risk, but also help to increase the returns for EPF in their overseas investment, most likely from their investment in new securities or assets. So these are some.
Financial transfers totaling 3.8 billion ringgit to 43 countries have been detected through 15 registered trading companies in Malaysia, suspected to be from fraudulent activities from 2021 to 2023. Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department JSJK Director Datuk Sri Ramli Muhammad Yusof said police have identified a trend in which companies are registered for dummy accounts to be used.
Untuk mendaftarkan syarikat. Begitu mudah sekali sekarang ni untuk mendaftar syarikat, dan syarikat-syarikat ini kadang-kadang tidak ada background yang solid, tetapi dimasukkan keuangan yang apabila jumlah yang besar, katalah lebih daripada RM25,000 dan sebagainya. Of course, ianya atas dasar syarikat dan juga dasar transaksi dengan negara-negara luar, import, ekspor dan sebagainya, ianya mudah terlepas.
Ramli said this after the launch of the Semak Mula 2.0 portal in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. According to him, this tactic has been a preferred choice because it allows financial transactions to be carried out more frequently, involving larger amounts. To curb this, he said that JSJK sees the need to strengthen the Semak Mula portal by adding another module, listing companies suspected of being involved in commercial crime activities. Through the portal, he said the public will know which companies are involved in commercial crimes and avoid dealing with them. So far, Ramli disclosed that 193,000 bank accounts and 164,000 scammer phone numbers have been listed on this portal, along with 107 companies suspected of fraudulent activities. Online fraud cases in Malaysia have doubled in 2023 to 34,495 cases from the 17,668 cases recorded in 2019. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim arrived in Melbourne on Sunday night to kickstart his inaugural official visit to Australia at the invitation of his counterpart Anthony Albanese. The Prime Minister will be leading the Malaysian delegation to two major programs during the 4-day visit beginning Monday to strengthen not just bilateral relations between both countries, but also enhancing cooperation in various fields. Hafiz Adnan has the story.
The special aircraft ferrying Anwar, accompanied by his wife Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, landed at Melbourne Jet Base at about 10:40 p.m. local time. He was welcomed upon arrival by the representative of the Australian Prime Minister Tim Watts, who is also the Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs. Also present to greet Anwar was Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Hassan. During his visit, the Prime Minister is scheduled to attend the second Malaysia-Australia Annual Leaders Meeting, ALM, on March 4th and the ASEAN-Australia Special Summit from March 5th to 6th. Earlier, at a briefing session with the Malaysian media on Sunday, Malaysian High Commissioner to Australia, Sharina Abdullah, said the visit marks a significant milestone in the long-standing partnership between the two nations through bilateral and multilateral platforms. Among the focus during Anwar's visit include enhancing cooperation in trade and investment, education, digital economy and cybersecurity.
They are into green technology, decarbonisation. This is something that Malaysia could also work together with Australia, so we are looking into that. The clean energy transition. They are, of course, going to talk about the conflict of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. That is one issue that they will definitely talk about.
Anwar is also scheduled to attend several key meetings, roundtable discussions and direct engagements with industry leaders in Melbourne before heading to Canberra on the final day of the visit on March 7. His maiden visit to Australia is also expected to elevate existing bilateral relations and cooperation between both countries to new heights, in line with the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership (CSP) established in 2021. 2024 marks 50 years since Australia became ASEAN's first external partner. As a bloc, ASEAN is also Australia's second largest trading partner. During the special summit, leaders will discuss on bolstering ASEAN-Australia cooperation with focus on the region's future and addressing shared challenges. Hassanel, Melbourne for Nightline.
The Transport Ministry will do everything possible to gain the Cabinet's approval to sign a new contract with Ocean Infinity to resume the search for Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 that went missing 10 years ago. Its Minister Anthony Loke said the Cabinet could study Ocean Infinity's proposal on the no-cure, no-fee search for MH370 in a matter of weeks.
Even though it's no fine, no fee, but we anticipate if, let's say, we start into a contract with Ocean Infinity, we hope that the plane is found. Then once the plane is found, there is a financial implication to the government of Malaysia. It is not that we are not committed to it. Definitely we are committed to it, but we need the Cabinet to approve the proposal. But I'm very, very confident that the government of Malaysia and the Cabinet will approve such proposal.
Loke added that the government was also open to proposals from any other company to restart the search for the missing plane. On March 8, 2014, flight MH370 en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing vanished from radar after 2 hours of flying. Since then, there has been little to no news of the whereabouts of the plane. In a significant stride towards international maritime collaboration, the U.S. Coast Guard cutter USCGC Berthoff made history with a pivotal port call in Port Klang, Selangor. Under the command of Captain William Meese, the 418-foot-long vessel, carrying approximately 170 personnel, docked in Port Klang from Friday until March 4th. Our reporter Alif Yunus has the story.
The USCGC Berthoff, constructed in Mississippi, US, commenced active duty in 2008 and is currently home-ported in Alameda, California. Its primary missions include national and foreign defense operations, counter-drug operations, law enforcement, search and rescue, fisheries enforcement, and international outreach. During the port call in Klang, the vessel seeks to strengthen global maritime governance, preserve sovereignty, share crucial information for force-multiplying partnerships, and demonstrate professional standards of behavior to reinforce the rules of law at sea.
So what we do is we demonstrate our interoperability by working together, by showing how we do things, learning how like-minded partners do things. It enhances our capability, and it's a force multiplier for the region when we all are able to work together and cooperate together.
Meese added that such cooperation aligns with advancing existing rules-based international order, solidifying the US as a reliable strategic partner for maritime safety, security, and prosperity in the region. Meanwhile, USCGC Executive Officer Commander Liyanna shed light on the extensive professional exchange that occurred during their stopover.
The purpose of our visit, it actually started several days ago. We started in the port of Singapore. We visited Changi Naval Base, and we had many meetings with our MMEA and our Singaporean partners. And we actually went out to sea together, operated together in the Straits of Singapore, in the Straits of Malacca, doing exercises and maritime communications and boarding exercises, showing our interoperability at sea and our partnership at sea.
The visit not only showcased the vessel's advanced capabilities, but also served as a testament to the strengthened bond between the United States and Malaysia in addressing common maritime challenges. Witnessing its precision, preparedness, and professionalism firsthand, the USCGC Berthoff emerged as a powerful symbol of maritime security. Alif Yunus, TV3.
Shehbaz Sharif elected Pakistan's Prime Minister for a second term. News from the foreign front when we return.
Bila dalam air tu bercampur bau, ada takut, ada gembira. Tapi banyak fikir pasal keluarga sebab bermain dengan nyawa. Kawasan tu banyak terlitip. Kalau ada arus ataupun kawasan tu nak kena clear dekat celah-celah kapal tu, yang tu susah.
Kepuasan sukan luncur air ni, dia hanya boleh diekspres bila kita melalui benda tu. Keberanian dalam diri tu untuk ambil ombak besar. Bila saya dapat ombak besar, saya akan makin teruja.
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Isu kadar kelahiran rendah di Malaysia pelbagai faktor ekonomi, gaya hidup dan kesihatan.
Jangkitan penyakit melalui haiwan, kutu hama cacing, jangan ambil mudah.
Ramai yang tidak sedar menjadi mangsa online banking seperti keldai akaun.
Musim panas, kena banyak minum air. Kami bawakan variasi air kelapa.
Juga soal wang, ketelusan dalam proses COD.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat 9.30 pagi, juga stream di Tonton.
Semuanya di TV3.
The foreign news. The Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, on Sunday has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and the swift delivery of humanitarian aid to the region. The call was made during the 159th Ministerial Council meeting of the GCC in Riyadh, as GCC foreign ministers also held separate discussions with their counterparts from Egypt, Jordan and Morocco. The meetings discussed the serious developments in Gaza Strip and Rafah, the military escalation against unarmed civilians, and the importance of an immediate ceasefire to ensure the return of security and stability. In the meantime, United States military cargo planes have airdropped food into Gaza in the first of series of 8 drops as humanitarian groups criticize Israel for blocking access to the besieged and bombarded Strip. According to the U.S. Central Command, the C-130 planes dropped over 38,000 meals along the coastline of Gaza, allowing for civilian access to the critical aid. The drop came as Zionist forces bombed a residential building in Rafah, killing at least 14 Palestinians and burying many others under the rubble. Meanwhile, Gaza's health ministry says at least 15 children have died in the past few days from malnutrition and dehydration at the Kamal Adwan hospital in Gaza City, hours after UNICEF chief warned against acute malnutrition in the besieged enclave. According to Dr. Imad Dardona, malnutrition plays a major role in the number of children that gets admitted, and thus in the number of deaths they cannot even deal with 50 to 60% of the cases received because they have nothing to give them.
وطبعا هذا كله بسبب قلة الأكل، قلة الغذاء اللي بياكلوه. يعني الطفل لازم ياكل 3 وجبات رئيسية، باكل وجبة واحدة طبيعي حيصيبه سوء تغذية وحيصيبه أمراض ناتجة عن سوء التغذية وحتزيد عنده نسبة الالتهابات، سواء التهابات الرئتين، التهابات الدم، أي التهابات كل هذا. خلينا نعرج عن شوية عن موضوع الهيباتيتس إيه اللي انتشر في البلد بسبب سوء التغذية اللي موجود بشكل كبير الآن.
Pakistan's newly formed parliament elected Shehbaz Sharif on Sunday as Prime Minister for a second time, just 3 weeks after uncertain national elections caused delays in the formation of a coalition government. Shehbaz secured 201 votes in the 336-member National Assembly, comfortably prevailing over rival Omar Ayub Khan, who only won 92. Shehbaz, who served as Prime Minister until August last year, is the younger brother of 3-time Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, who founded the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party, which is in alliance with the Pakistan People's Party to form the government. The announcement of his appointment, however, was met with loud protests from the Sunni Ittihad Council Party, backed by former Prime Minister Imran Khan. The lawmakers called for Khan's release and shouted slogans alleging Sharif had come to power through electoral rigging. On another matter, at least 29 people have been killed and 50 others injured due to heavy rains that swept Pakistan in the past 48 hours, causing several houses to collapse and landslides to block roads, particularly in the northwest of the country. The Provincial Disaster Management Authority said in a statement on Sunday that at least 23 rain-related deaths were reported in various areas in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province bordering Afghanistan since Thursday night. 5 people died in the southwestern Balochistan province after the coastal town of Gwadar got flooded, forcing authorities to use boats to evacuate some 10,000 people. Casualties and extensive damage were also reported in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Emergency relief is now being provided to people in affected areas, and heavy machinery is currently being used to remove debris blocking highways. Authorities also advised tourists against traveling to the scenic north due to the weather conditions. Suarez scores first MLS goal for Inter Miami. Sports right after this short break.
Beli minyak masak tapi bersyarat pelanggan jadi mangsa peniaga rakus.
Di atas 100 baru dapat 2 paket.
Kan kita betul atau salah. Kita cuma ada sikit salah.
You kena simpan ikut limit yang you punya lesen.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Sayang. I thought my husband.
Kau rasa aku boleh ke jatuh cinta dengan dia? Kau rasa ini ke yang terbaik untuk aku?
Abang hantar B untuk lengkapkan hidup abang. Amanah kot, bukan main-main.
You dah jumpa pengganti I ke?
Aku rasa macam Amy ada perempuan lain. Promise me for 2 years.
And you bagi alasan nak tunggu dia deliver pula. Apa alasan you lagi ni?
Perempuan Itu. Setiap Isnin hingga Khamis, 6 petang di Sakura TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports, football, the MLS. Inter Miami CF earned a historic 5-0 win over rivals Orlando City SC on Saturday afternoon at the Chase Stadium in Florida, registering the largest margin of victory in club history. Luis Suarez opened his MLS account for Miami just 4 minutes into the game after beating a low cross from Liyanna. Suarez then scored his second goal 7 minutes later, and Gressel was again involved. Robert Taylor made it 3-0 in the 29th minute before Lionel Messi bagged a 5-minute second-half brace to complete the rout. After opening his tally with a close-range goal in the 57th minute, Messi found the back of the net with a header 5 minutes later to wrap up a 5-0 win. Miami, now with 7 points from the opening 3 games, will return to action on Thursday against Nashville in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. On to tennis, the 2024 Mexican Open. Third seed Alex de Minaur successfully defended his crown on Saturday, romping to a 6-4, 6-4 victory over Casper Ruud in the Acapulco title clash. The match took just under 2 hours as the pair battled in long rallies, with the difference being the Australians' ability to capitalize on break points, nailing 3 of 4 while Ruud converted just 1 of 4. The world number 9 drew first blood for a 3-1 lead and served out the rest of the set. In the second, the pair broke each other before the Australian had the decisive break in the 7th game and went on to win his 10th consecutive match. De Minaur is just the 4th player to win back-to-back titles in Acapulco, the first since David Ferrer in 2010 to 2012. Formula One now. Champion Max Verstappen eased to victory, grabbing pole position in the season opening of Bahrain Grand Prix on Saturday, despite the turmoil surrounding his Red Bull team principal, Christian Horner. Verstappen started on pole position and was never seriously challenged on his way to a commanding 1-2 win for Red Bull, ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez. The Red Bull driver stopped the clock at 1 minute 29.179 seconds, with a second Q3 run to cross 2/10 clear of Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz Jr. was third for Ferrari after fighting hard with teammate Leclerc. George Russell was a 10th further back. Saturday was the 8th win in a row for Verstappen, going back to September last year. Scores injured, 2 critically in accident involving bus and 4-wheel drive. Don't go away.
Mengapa tak jumpa kan? Tapi misteri terbesar dalam dunia moden ini adalah kapal terbang anda.
Mungkin belum dapat jumpa lagi lah. It's there somewhere lah.
Lagi mengenai operasi dan menyelamat MH370.
Sebab yang terlibat tu adalah sahabat-sahabat saya.
क्या करेंगे? ओया, जहाँ पे तलिस्मान खोया था मैं वापस वहीं पे जाता हूँ।
हम भी आपके साथ चलेंगे।
कोई नहीं बचेगा, कोई नहीं.
Alibaba, Dustin di Kabul. Setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 4 petang di Sonia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. A bus driver and passenger was seriously injured in a crash involving an express bus and a 4-wheel drive at the Ipoh Lumut Highway near Changkat Cermin, Perak on Sunday. State Fire and Rescue Department Operations Division Assistant Director Sabarat Zainur Ahmad said the express bus, believed to be travelling from Lumut to Ipoh, was carrying 18 other individuals who also suffered light injuries. A team of firefighters from the Air Tawar Fire and Rescue Station were dispatched to the scene as soon as a distress call was received at 5:38 p.m. The crash involved a Toyota Hilux and an express bus that rammed into the road divider. The injured passengers on the bus and the Hilux driver, who suffered minor injuries, were then sent to the hospital for treatment. Initial investigations found that the Hilux, which was also heading from Lumut to Ipoh, had switched lanes. The action resulted in the express bus driver being unable to hit the brakes in time, causing him to lose control of the vehicle and crash. Further investigation into the case is being conducted under the Road Transport Act. Two people were killed when the vehicle they were travelling in plunged into the sea in the Lahad Datu district late on Saturday. It is learned that prior to the mishap, the victims, a man and his father-in-law, had allegedly been involved in a heated quarrel. The victims were a 26-year-old identified as Edwin and his father-in-law, Chan Wai Hu, aged 65. Lahad Datu Deputy Police Chief Superintendent Jimmy Panyao said that according to Edwin's relative, who was at the Payang Fish breeding pond when the incident occurred, Edwin wanted to send Chan home first and then return to pick up several other relatives who were there. However, after Edwin and Chan entered the vehicle, the car was seen travelling in a haphazard manner before it plunged into the sea. Both bodies were later retrieved by rescuers. The first victim was found at 12:06 a.m. together with the car, while the second body was retrieved at 1:31 a.m. Both victims were declared dead at the scene, and the bodies were handed over to the police for further action. The operation ended at 1:58 a.m., and investigations into the cause of the accident are being conducted by the police. Police have confirmed an incident involving a Malaysian athlete and Sukma Terengganu martial artist who, after participating in a sports event on Saturday, passed away on Sunday morning and that no criminal elements were involved. Seremban District Police Chief ACP Muhammad Hatta Cheddin said the results of the investigation revealed that the victim, 21-year-old Wan Muhammad Haikal Wan Hussein, succumbed to a brain hemorrhage.
Dia pendarahan dalam otak lah. Saya tak nak cakap macam tu. Masa dia berlawan tu, mungkin kaki tu kena kat leher. Tak ada unsur jenayah. Dia mungkin salah langkah lah masa pertandingan tu je. Tak ada unsur jenayah.
Muhammad Hatta said that the case has been classified as sudden death. He added that authorities will also summon several witnesses, including organizers and opponents, to assist in the investigation. Previously, it was reported that Wan Muhammad Haikal of Terengganu collapsed in the middle of a contest held at the Coral Hyde Park Community Hall in Seremban, Negeri Sembilan on Saturday. He was said to have passed out after being kicked by an opponent and remained unconscious before members of the Civil Defence Force arrived 20 minutes later. He was taken to Hospital Tuanku Jaafar for treatment, but was officially pronounced dead at 1:20 a.m. on Sunday. As we wrap up this edition of Nightline, let's take a look as Bollywood stars dazzled on Saturday as part of celebrations for Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani's youngest son, Anand, who is set to marry his longtime girlfriend, Radhika Merchant. With that, I'm Liyanna Hassanel. Thank you for tuning in and be well, Malaysia.